Things are ever changing with Sally, and here's an update as we're getting the 10 o'clock numbers coming in here right now on Fox 10 News. This is still a Category 2 storm, and winds are still at 100, and the forward motion is west-northwest at 3 miles an hour. So it's just creeping along to the west-northwest. It's really being held up because it is a deeper system by the westerly flow pattern. And so that's going to have a bearing on the forward speed, especially as we get into tomorrow and also into the middle part of the week. And it'll have an outcome as far as the way it's going to work out with the forecast track. Pressure's dropped 2 millibars from 988 to 986. So it is still at least holding its own, if not getting stronger. We're seeing a real deep burst right near the center, so it looks like this storm is getting stronger. We're under a hurricane warning still. We haven't seen any changes to this yet all the way over to Santa Rosa County, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Okaloosa County included in the hurricane warning. Here is the forecast track, and this looks really bad for Mobile County and for Baldwin County. We're showing it right here, 7 o'clock tomorrow, that this system will begin to turn north and head towards Mobile County, Baldwin County, Jackson County, or Escambia County, Florida, the Mississippi coast. We've seen the track pull away from New Orleans. So the idea here is that the storm's going to turn north and then kick out to the northeast. A more eastward shift in the track is possible, but right now the current track has been adjusted to the east and is currently centered up right at us. So nothing's really changed for the better for us. It's just that it looks like it's even more likely to come our way. And our forecast area includes Mobile County, Baldwin County, Escambia County, Santa Rosa County, and Okaloosa County. So it's very likely that this one's going to come ashore in our area. Now, also want to mention, the timeline's changed just a little bit here. We're showing it now coming ashore with the center, and that's not really going to be a huge difference maker. It's not like right when it comes ashore, you all of a sudden are going to see a change in the impact. It's going to be gradually going on through the whole event, 7 a.m. Wednesday morning. For more on this new forecast track, I know, Matt, you've had a chance to look at the discussion a little bit. What are you seeing with this forecast track?
Well, we're seeing what we've been looking at all day long. The storm has run into some significant headwinds, so to speak, and it has slowed down. I think probably the most significant part of that update we just showed was the forward speed now down to 3 miles per hour. We just talked about that the last half hour. We expected it to be dropped down to about 2 or 3 miles an hour. It's exactly what's happened. This thing is strolling along. That's how fast you walk with your dog, and that is how slow the storm is moving tonight, and that's creating the issues with the forecast. Because the slower it goes, the more it's impacted by these westerly winds up in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and the more that can push it eventually off to the east. And you can see the models here. Once again, it's a huge spread. We don't normally get this much of a spread here with a system this close in, but you can see how wide apart all this goes. But for now, we're looking out from the National Hurricane Center. The best bet is somewhere still between maybe about Ocean Springs and about Pensacola, which we're still right in the middle of that. We'll be right in the middle of that. So obviously major issues. There's the rain again. Boy, it is a lot of it, guys. We're going to be seeing a lot of rain, and with this thing moving at 3 miles per hour, it's going to take a long time to get through all that rain.
So far, all that significant rain across the Florida Panhandle and into Baldwin County. You can see that rain band there. It's yet to move into Mobile County. It may not make a lot of progress forward in the short term because the storm hasn't turned yet, but we think it'll go more towards the north tomorrow based on that advisory. A weak steering flow, always a little bit of a forecasting nightmare, but we are getting some clarity on where this thing is going to end up, and unfortunately, we're right in the center of the cone of a very significant hurricane. Now, where do we stand right now with storm surge? Let's look at the Biola Battery tide gauge, and the tide has bottomed out about 1.5 feet above normal. So we already have coastal flooding about 1.5 feet above normal. High tide tomorrow is going to be tomorrow morning at between 8 and 10 a.m. and I expect it to be a good bit higher, a good foot or two higher than it was this morning, and it's just going to get higher from there because as the storm gets closer, especially Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, That's when that tide's going to peak out in those coastal areas. Winds right now are sustained near tropical storm force on Baffin Island at 38 miles an hour. It's a blustery night. There's a lot of tropical activity in the Atlantic Basin. We're seeing Paulette move out, Renee fizzled, Teddy's out there. We've got Vicky. We've got so many systems out there, but our focus is on Sally. And of course, we'll have much more on Sally, how we're preparing for it locally, and what's going on meteorologically coming up on Fox 10 News at 10.